YouTube family, friends, um, wherever you may be joining me from across the world, across the globe. Um, Today is August the 5th, 2025. The current time is 3:27 p.m. In the state that I'm in. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you may be watching from, whenever you come across this video. Um, I ain't did a video in a while, and I just want to come on and encourage, that's my purpose, for being here, encourage, talk about things that, I'm currently facing or done been through in the past, because I never know. Somebody may need to hear my story. And somebody else could receive, their breakthrough just by, watching me. I do want to start out by saying, I thank God that I'm able, to be a voice for those that is going through and struggling and may, can't speak up or talk. And don't get me wrong, because I used to be there myself as well. But my topic that I'm going to talk about today is overcoming hurt, overcoming pain, anything in that category. Recently, I've been faced with, a lot of things traumatically over the past couple of months, and even weeks. And, I thank God, that I have a relationship with him, because it's done been times, where I've been facing things and I would turn from God. I would, be like, okay, I'm going through this, this, I'll just figure it out. But one thing you cannot do in life is you can't live life without Jesus. But getting to my point, about hurt, life, it is alive after hurt. It is alive after pain. Of course, it's not going to never be the same. And as we all know, the scripture, we constantly read it, and many people may not understand it, and some people may. But it's Ephesians 6:12, and it say, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principality, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." And oftentimes, you have people that does things to you, and sometimes people not aware, that they're being used by a spirit, and us people that's aware of it, sometimes, we get fed up sometimes. And I'm not gonna, sit here and act like everything is all sunshine because you have rain, in your life. They got a song say, if you never had no rain in your life, live a while. And I kid you not, I'm 30 years old. And, the amount of things that I have faced, is traumatic. People don't really talk about what pain does to you. People can easily talk about any and everything else, but pain, that's just a whole nother, story. But I'm here to talk about it today because somebody needs to hear my story. And, I done been quiet too long. I done let, the devil make me shut up too long. But, it's all what you give power to. You can either give power to the devil and have him, control you with thoughts and anything. Excuse me if y'all hear the thunder and stuff. We are getting, bad weather down this way a couple of days. So what happened is just the time I'm doing my video. But anyway, there is life after pain. Is never going to be 100%, like it used to be, but you live and you learn from it, and you will get better You will have your days, but on the days that you have, try not to let that overtake you. And and I'm gonna tell my story. Recently, sometimes people know, what they're doing to you. A lot of good-hearted people, such as myself and many others out there, we are a target to the world. And what I mean by that is, when you have a good heart, you'll look at somebody and you'll be like, wow, and then you'll want to help them. And they say, your heart is deceitful, and you really have to watch and guard your heart. And then another thing, about good hearted people, we can be getting mistreated, but because of our good heart, we tend to stay in environments that no longer serve us purpose, thinking people go change, wishing people gonna change. But one thing about it, only Jesus can change people. The only thing we can do is lead them to God. We can't force them. Like they say, God don't even force us to come. But it's all about when we leave this world, where do you want to spend, eternity? Do you want to spend it with God? Do you want to do the necessary steps that it takes to enter the kingdom? And that's being, baptized, filled with the Holy Ghost. We all read it in the Bible, and you have to understand it. That's why I thank God for my church and my pastor, because they break things down. And it's like a lot of people are hurting, but they don't have somebody to coach them through their hurt. They don't have anybody to keep them, on track during their hurt. So a lot of people retaliate. A lot of people take other people's lives. A lot of people just do anything because they're done been hurt. And I done been at that point, like, don't let anger consume you. I was just there a couple of days ago. You can, and that's how the devil get a lot of people. You can really be in a new environment and be done relocated, and you can just be having a good day, and out the blue, this thought will come up what somebody done to you. This will come up of what they be done said about you. And it's like you back at square one, and then you got your heart trying to deceive you and pull you backwards. Like, but all of that is like, you just have to really have the willpower and pray to God. Like, you can't go back to what's normal. Like they say, you cannot heal in the same environment that you got sick in. That's not gonna work. And good-hearted people, we always tend to stay in environments longer than what we supposed to stay in. And I'm speaking on my behalf. I'm speaking on the experience, that I have faced, that I have been through, that I know for a fact with me, I'll be wanting people to change. I know for a fact with me, I have stayed in situations and environments longer than I should. And a lot of people in our lives come in our lives to be a season, or, they come for a season, or some of them come for a lesson, or some of them come, to teach us different things, and you tend to want to hold on to stuff like that. But the thing about living this life, you have to let go of what hurt. Like, is easier said than done, and that's what a lot of people don't talk about either. They don't talk about the hardness of letting go. They don't talk about, you don't understand, you want revenge, but God already told us vengeance is his. So why put our hands in something that God already done told us that's his? No, we shouldn't be waiting for God to get our enemies. No, we shouldn't be talking against our enemies. No, but like I said, it's easier said than done. When it comes to doing it, that's the hard part. You can say it, but the hard part really is doing it. And my thing, I recently was hurt and I recently was betrayed, I and God delivered me from me being hurt last year in 2024 of November. I went to a convention and it was powerful, and sometimes you really don't know how much you're hurt, or you really don't know what you're holding on to until you know things, till you get somewhere in a real environment. And excuse if you hear my house phone ringing, it's, I don't know, but um you know, or whatever. So you really just have to take one day at a time. Stay before God. I have people in my life, and another thing I want to touch on too. A lot of people don't talk about the memory loss of after you've been hurt, the depression, the anxiety, the fear. We often hear those things, but a lot of this comes with being hurt. You can really forget who you are, what you used to be. We often hear people can lose their mind from drugs, drinking, you know, demon possessed, but nobody talks about the people who haven't been on drugs, the people who haven't lost their mind to alcohol or demons. Nobody talks about the part about you can lose your mind from being traumatized. You can lose yourself and your mind from being, hurt. A lot of pain, things of that nature can consume you and draw you back into a dark place. And that's why it's very careful. You have to be careful once God start removing things. You have to be careful, that you don't slip back into darkness, because there is a hurtful place to be. Coming from a person like me, I've never been the type of person to hate nobody. I've never been the type of person that wants to seek revenge on nobody. I always used to be the type of person, anytime somebody do something to me, I would forgive and I would forget about it and I would be free. And the people that did stuff to me, they would be the one that would be guilty, and they wouldn't come around. They'll say, they're sorry, but then they would be guilty. They'll feel like they shouldn't be around me or anything, because guilt was eating them up. But to me, I already had forgiven them, but they couldn't forgive themselves. And a lot of people is like that. But then as the years went on, people was doing things to me, and I remember I was so young, and this is when I first started my walk with Christ. I always grew up in church, and my mama kept me and my sister in church, and so I knew God, I knew right from wrong. And I was just the easygoing person, forgiving person. But they often say people can see things that you often can't see yet. People seen that I was a good person. They seen I was an easy target, but I didn't see that in myself. I knew I was a good person, but I didn't look at people using me. I didn't look at people hurting me, and things like that. And some people, they will hurt you, and when you wake up and learn and back off from them, they'll try to manipulate you into thinking that you're the problem. It's just a lot that you have to deal with. But I'm here to tell you that you can overcome being hurt. You can overcome your past. And I'm talking from experience. This is not nothing I watch. This is not nothing I'm repeating. This is something that I really honestly brutally went through, suffering in silence after pain, watching people around you being in the wrong crowd, being, because you're different from others, you get treated different. And people always say, oh, Jesus went through that. And sometimes at some point you be so fed up, you be so angry, you be so mad, and you don't want to hear all of this about Jesus went through that, because it's like, man, what is, it's like people giving a free pass. Oh, we're gonna do you like that because Jesus did like that. But as time go on and you have to learn this stuff, it's a lot. But at the end of the day, I am grateful for how God delivered me, because I had so much anger and rage, and I really had forgotten the person who I was, and I never want to return to that person because I didn't know who I was. I went from loving, caring, doing anything to how people did me. It made me mad, it made me bitter, and although I was feeling that and I would act the way that they act, in the end you still basically felt bad because you cannot act like somebody that you're really not. You cannot do the things other people did because it was done to you, and you know that it's not in your heart. And another thing I want to say, I had got to the point where I was like depressed. My anxiety was high. And sometimes when you a strong person and you be around people, people only always see me, oh, Canessa love to laugh, Canessa love to have fun and joke. But a lot of that stuff I was doing to keep from crying. Nobody knew that about me because I always have been a laughable, jokeable person. But when you're hurt, sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying. Sometimes you have to turn your mind to other things. But there is nothing like the peace that God can give you. There is nothing like the understanding God can give you. It's like you be in awe. You can't explain it. And I used to hear this all the time, but it wasn't until I experienced it. And now I can tell somebody else it's nothing like the joy, peace, and happiness God give you. All that I've been going through these couple of months, these couple of days, and I still manage to have joy. I still take time to read my word before I leave home every morning. I still take time to pray, and it's just joyous. And when I think about it, it's like it just make you want to cry because if anybody knew me when hard times came my way, I always loved God. And for him to still love me and still welcome me with open arms after all that I did, by leaving him when things got hard, by telling him I'm not going to do certain things. But one thing about it, you cannot never fight against God. Whatever God got planned for your life, oh, it's gonna happen. You can fight against it, you can do all of that. But God had to make me strong. And I mean, I have my moments I cry, but I can't leave God. He has been beyond amazing to me. He's been good. He done placed people in my life that would keep me on the right track. I don't even have to reach out and text a lot of people that text me because they feel when I'm going through. I don't have to post anything on social media. And I want to say this, I have a very special person in my life, and she is my godmother. And one day I was talking to her, and she prayed with me, and she said, the videos you used to do can set somebody free. And I said, wow. I didn't say it out loud, but I said, wow, because if anybody knew me, I had done forgot about myself. And that's what pain does to you. And that's what people don't talk about. How pain can erase your memory. Everything is not demon possessed. Everything is not coming from alcohol. Everything is not coming from the normal stuff that we, hear. Sometimes simple pain and trauma can just wipe your memory out. And I kid you not, I had forgot that I did videos until my godmother reminded me. She was like, your videos can set somebody free. And I don't even know the last time I had did a video, before she told me that. And I was like, and I had to let it be made known. I told her, I said, I honestly had forgot that I even did videos. I had forgot how I used to go live, how I used to, like I am now, recording, and it's just real because sometimes that's how people be needing, they need somebody in their corner to help them. People, like I say, look at me as strong, but I wouldn't be where I am today without God. I wouldn't be where I am today without all the people that He, done placed in my life. Some people, are teaching me what to do, and you got other people that's teaching me what not to do. But when it's all said and done, I really and truly, have to thank God, because what if I would have never came back to myself from being hurt, and I never open up to people, because I used to open up to people, and when I did, I was betrayed. I mean, sometimes you got people in your life that would deliberately come in your life, and they would tell you they here for you. They would tell you some of everything just to know your business. And when you tell your business, the betrayal is what you have to deal with. Somebody can be in with you on something, and they would go and get themselves cleaned up. They would go and, tell things, and then they'll have a whole group of people looking at you like, oh, don't talk to her. Oh, don't hang around her. Don't be around her. But they never tell you, oh, I was in on it with her. Betrayal is real. And a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people betray people. And these videos that I do, I'm not on here to bash nobody. I'm not on here to talk about nobody. I simply come on here to encourage and uplift, because I always feel like somebody across the world needs to hear my story and how I got free. And it wasn't nobody but Jesus that set me free. And where would I be without Jesus? Yes, we need people in our life to help us. And I truly thank God for the people He has placed in my life, because it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not an easy journey coming from hurt and pain. And that's why God had to place you around people who have been through it to help you through it. And when they help you through it, you can't sit there and not say nothing about it. You got to say something. That's how we draw one another. That's how we, you know, win, you know, just keep it going like that. Like, you know, somebody needs to hear my story. So here I am talking about my story. And many days I'm gonna do videos and gonna be crying because it's just something about when you can get over a pain. And then it's something when you have to fight your thoughts. That's the worst place to be stuck is in your mind. That's the worst place to be stuck. And many people that is hurt, that is where they're stuck at in their mind. They cannot let it go. And I understand that. But I thank God for that convention that I went to in 2024 because, you know, it's a fight getting anywhere. And I always say, wow, you know, God has been good to me, you know. I'm in, you know, the church, and sometimes it's a fight. Even, you know, going to church, I'm like, Lord, you know, it's like, um, church should be church. Like, why it's so hard sometimes to get to church? But when you in an organization that's, you know, where people get free, people get healed, people get delivered, you know. The devil always gonna fight something like that. And I just thank God that I'm able and willing, you know, and have the mind to serve him. And I'm only 30 years old. 4 years ago when I started my walk with God, you know, I had to, it was just different. It was, you know, he, like they say, he knew us before we was in our mother's womb. So, you know, and I'm not saying it's fun. I'm not saying it's easy. All I can say is it's worth it. And I'm not, you know, on camera living something that, or saying something that I'm not living, because it's real and it is hard once you done been hurt. But I'm here to say that there is life after pain. Yes, you're going to have the thoughts of what people done to you. Yes, you're going to still feel pain, but that's all part of healing. No, nobody talks about the days that you're healing and then the next minute you're breaking down and then the next minute you don't want to do it no more. But you can't you can't get stuck in your mind there. You just can't do it. Whenever you have those days, just call out to Jesus. You know, he's there. Call him Jesus. He's there. He will regulate your mind. He will give you peace. Read his word. That's how I get through, you know. And then have somebody to talk to. I'm learning that opening up. Yes, I done been betrayed. Yes, I done been observant and have to watch who I talk to. But the people that God recently placed in my life, I never had to second guess them. I never had to type a message and then delete it, because I know that, you know, that they're because I know that they wouldn't mean what they say. And yes, you can be a good person. Yes, you can have a good heart. Yes, and still be in the wrong crowd. But when you take time to just pray, when you take time to trust in Jesus and get out your comfort zone, that's where you're going to find the peace, the healing. You can be free. And I thank God for the people that I have been talking to, because, you know, I just had times where you need to reach out to somebody, you start typing a message, and you be like, no, what for, you know? But now I'm able to talk to people without being judged. I don't have to hear no more what I done text, what the conversation done been. I don't have to hear that repeated. I don't have to be cautious. I can let my guard down. I can relax. I can get the help that I need. And when I get it, I can help somebody else. And I would have never dreamed that I would have been living a life of the things that I went through, y'all. Like, I supposed to be gone. Depression supposed to be took me out. But I was always the person that was going through but kept a smile on my face. But sometimes the pain was hard to bear. A lot of times I was about ready to take myself out of here. But I was like, if I do it, nobody else that's been hurt can get free. And I'm just here. I'm always here, for anybody. It feels good to help other people. At one point, I was so hurt, I didn't want to help nobody no more. I was like, oh, no, I'm done. But it didn't feel right. I'm not out here being prideful. We all struggle with something. And they say when you have a bad day, go help somebody. That makes you feel good when you help somebody. You never know what you could do. You never know. Like, if you're having a bad day, try that sometimes. Go help somebody and watch how good you feel. Not out of being pride, not out of being, put the cameras down. You ain't got to record your every move when you helping somebody. You ain't supposed to let your right hand know what your left hand doing no way. So, but I thank God, for, I'm grateful. I really am. And I got a long way to go. This is just the start, because Canessa ain't never been this route with God, but I'm willing. I can't turn back now, the world, we already in the last days that I can't afford to turn from God. I feel like if I'm be wanting to do that turn from God, then I just might as well go on and die. And what I mean by that, I done came too far in God. Ain't nothing back there but the past. And God won't let me go back no how, because I done tried it. So all I can do is keep going forward. Whatever, He got in store for me, I'm willing. And I'm waiting, and that's all. But I am Canessa. Like I said, I'm 30 years old, and I'm on my journey with God, and I'm always available if you want help, want prayer. I have a Facebook my Facebook is Canessa Borders, CANESSABORDERS, and you can always inbox me. This is my YouTube. You can comment, if you want help. I'm always open and available to help somebody. But with that being said, y'all, I do hope this video finds you, and I hope that this video blesses you. And I thank God as always that I'm able and willing, to put out a video. I know I don't put them out every day. I know I don't be on here like I should, but maybe one day I will, eventually learn how to do the live stream and all that. But all this is, I'm still learning. So with that being said, you all have an amazing rest of your Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day it is when you see this video. And I love y'all. And like I say, don't be hesitant to reach out to me. And God bless you all. In Jesus' name, I will see you guys later.